All right, our next segment is waiver wire targets, and to be honest, I wasn't too excited about the waiver wire this week, but we did look up some of the people we've already targeted in previous weeks, and so you might hear the same name, except for this guy. We've never talked about this guy.
There's a few decent ones in there.
I just kind of added him because
Jamal Agnew's junk.
Yeah, Jamal Agnew. I read a story. I read a story this week that he's getting all the slot work now. And in
he was
week
a defensive
8,
back at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, week 8. Listen, week 8 he got 12 targets, caught 6 of them, and then week 9.
I watched the great Agnew game live. Or not live in person, but I noted that he was having a great game, and then I watched the next one.
And he got 5 targets, caught 3 of them for 27 yards. So, I mean, if
you're starting Agnew, you start making some trades.
He's only, what is it?
I think Cuz agrees with me on this one.
He's only 5% owned.
You've got a great list here of players to discuss. I don't know that Agnew.
He's not. No, he's at the very bottom of this list.
We'll bring up the worst one first.
Yeah, he's at the very bottom of this list. But so I actually...
let's call this if you're really hurting. This is
definitely only a very deep league ad.
Yeah, very deep league ad. I wouldn't
below
really...
0.
I wouldn't break the bank to get him, but I feel like he could possibly.
But if you
turn
are
into
in
something.
a deep PPR league and you need a flex who's going to get some targets, there's a guy that's probably available.
Go Elijah Moore.
Trevor Lawrence doesn't like to throw the ball deep, and he's the slot guy. So, I mean, there you go. So the next one we got on here is Eno Benjamin, who is basically a handcuff to injury-prone James Conner. So if you're hurting at running back and you need something to at least look forward to, hoping, I mean, of course, we're not going to look forward to James Conner getting injured. We don't want that to happen. But it has happened. So if you needed some potential running back value.
Deep roster guys.
Yeah.
Because high-stakes leagues usually have 20 teams per. I'm guessing Benjamin's probably going to be the highest pickup in high-stakes leagues out of anybody.
Yeah.
It'll be one of the top ones.
Plus the fact that he scored.
He's potentially more than a handcuff guy. I mean, he could just take the Chase Edmonds role, and Chase Edmonds has been good.
They're a two-back team for sure.
Yeah. So he could. He's not even 1% owned across the ESPN leagues. He's actually 0.1% owned.
He's available in your league.
He is 100% available in your league. He had 9 rushing attempts last week, 39 yards, and 1 touchdown.
And if you don't want to start Jamal Agnew in your
I would definitely start Benjamin over Agnew this week. Jared, would you play Benjamin or Agnew this week?
I don't know. It's the Jets, right? Actually, this may be Agnew week.
Yeah, this would be Agnew week, I think. Oh, no, wait. It's not. No, they're not playing the Jets.
I thought we just said they were.
No, Bills are playing the Jets.
Bills are playing the Jets.
Yeah, sorry.
But no, I'd probably start Eno Benjamin this week. He's projected for what is it? I mean, he's not even projected that high, but I like him. I like his opportunity.
I would play him over Agnew.
ESPN's top-notch algorithm doesn't have him projected high?
No.
That's good to note.
No, they don't.
They've got a lot of variables that they're throwing at that.
They got
it's called they take games that he's played, they divide it, and then,
He's projected 4.3 points. Agnew was like 8, so. But I still like Eno's opportunity.
I like Benjamin more.
And if you're using ESPN,
this is definitely, again, deep league if you're starting Benjamin, but.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to put a little promotion for Line Star here. Line Star is an algorithm, basically.
Right.
Every DFS sport, it helps you with start-sit questions because their algorithm is a little bit better than ESPN's. Line Star is not.
ESPN's is not that great.
Not an advertiser of the show, but they're something that both the Juice and I use quite a bit. They could be an advertiser for the show if they would like. But no, really, look, if you guys are really playing fantasy, use there's tools. Use the tools.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
Don't rely on ESPN. Don't rely on anything Matt Berry says. Ever.
There's actually one week where I was watching
Mike Clay.
There's one week where I was watching
2 weeks ago, Matt Berry told me not to play Brandon Cooks in DFS, and I still want to kill him. I don't why I make fun of him all the time. I don't know why
you don't know why he listened.
Why I let him influence me, but I did not start Brandon Cooks because of Matt Berry, and it reissued.
Should have known better. Should have known better.
Like 2 weeks ago, I was watching him.
He's terrible
for some reason. And he said James Conner's going to get a touchdown guaranteed, and so like, all right, I'll start in my dynasty league, and he actually got a touchdown. But that's like the first time that's ever worked.
Good me listening.
To James Conner scored a touchdown almost every week.
Almost every week. I guess that was pretty easy for him to predict.
Not a very hot
right?
take.
Yeah.
Good for you and Matthew Berry.
We got along one week. I'm
glad you and Matthew Berry are there. Yeah.
All right, this one we mentioned mainly because we wanted just to have a quarterback.
There is no reason in any 12-man league that you'd be starting this guy. But yes, let's go ahead.
It's a Trevor Simeon. And if you're in, if you're in a super flex league, which is what we're in, and there is no quarterbacks on the waiver wire. It's Trevor Simeon. He's only 3.6% owned. He had 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a fumble, 22 fantasy points. So if you're hurting at quarterback and no one else wants him, then just grab him up. Stick him in there. He might be a season-long quarterback. Who knows? It doesn't look like they really want Taysom Hill to be the guy.
I don't know. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they bench him this week for Taysom Hill.
Yeah, if he throws a couple interceptions.
Those numbers actually surprised me. He had actually a decent game and a loss to the Falcons.
Yeah,
if you can have a decent game and a loss to the Falcons.
They were playing from behind a lot second half, so it makes it easier on quarterbacks.
Yeah, I didn't actually forgot to check. I don't know if they have the rushing or passing attempts on here. They do not, But it was a decent game for a quarterback that's only 3.6% owned. But that's really all the time that we want to put on Trevor Simeon.
That's all he gets.
That's all he gets. We've already talked about this guy, Elijah Moore. Probably, most likely, the hottest waiver wire pickup in your league.
Is he your favorite on our list?
I think he's up there. I think he's up there. Probably my favorite. Probably not. I don't know about you guys, but
in high stakes league, he's not available. But in ESPN leagues, he's definitely available because you only have to start.
He's not very owned.
2 receivers in ESPN leagues.
We'll see here. He is 15% owned, so higher than the rest of the people we've mentioned so far.
That's definitely most leagues he's available.
Yeah,
in
most
ESPN,
leagues
he's
available.
definitely going to be available.
Yeah.
I'm just saying deeper the roster, the less likely he's going to be available just because some people had to be stashing him.
But I really like this guy. I think he's got potential to actually give you points this year, and if it's a keeper league, points next year.
Definitely extremely talented for sure.
Yeah. Next guy on this list, he's coming off an IR injury, and surprisingly, he's kind of available enough to be on the waiver wire pickup list, and that is Logan Thomas.
It's because people like me who had him picked up Ricky Seals-Jones, and I don't carry 2 tight ends, so I'm sure he's probably pretty available, right?
Yeah, and I like Logan Thomas quite a bit.
I do too. He's 47% owned across ESPN leagues. Before he got injured, he was consistently putting up 10 points a week.
He's their second biggest passing threat, right?
Yeah.
There's McLaurin.
McLaurin.
And then Logan Thomas, and that's it.
That's it, yeah.
Next is J.D. McKissick.
Yeah, J.D. McKissick, who I have never been a fan of.
I dropped Gibson in that league, 25.
Antonio Gibson?
Yeah, 4-man.
He's probably borderline droppable.
He is.
I dropped him from Patterson.
Well, that was a good move. That was a good move. Yeah, that's a very easy choice. But in a league where it's hard to find a good tight end, and I feel like Logan Thomas would be a great add if you are hurting at that position.
I like your next one a lot.
All right, our next one is Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Plays for Cleveland. I don't love him, but Odell Beckham is gone now, so he'll get to keep that spot instead of handing it over to Odell Beckham and watch him accomplish nothing.
And
because
again,
they're
running a different offense now, and it very much favors his style.
Yeah, this is something that Josiah said earlier. I mean, basically, you can say it, what you said about
Jared didn't like Donovan Peoples-Jones because he's like, well, he only gets a few targets every game.
That's not true, though, is it?
It is.
He hasn't been super high on the target tree right now.
He's got 3 last week, 5 the week before that.
But, I mean, I was just telling him, 8 years ago when Josh Gordon went off, it was the same deal. The whole first half.
Like 3 for 110.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so a lot of people are like, oh, it's fluky. But as the season goes on, the targets go up if you do well.
I mean, if the Browns are going to continue to play well, I think he will be playing well.
The Browns are going to continue to play well. They're a good team.
Play well.
Yep.
They're playing decently today. Okay, and the last one on the waiver wire list is now what feels like the number 1 running back for the Eagles, and that is Jordan Howard.
Mm-hmm. I think Jordan Howard's probably a better pickup than Eno Benjamin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you're actually going to use them, yes.
Right. Well, yeah, if you have to start him this week, definitely.
Yeah.
Jordan Howard. But he looked good.
I'm a little worried about
I watched some of the highlights of him.
The Philadelphia running back. It sounds very 49ers 2 years ago to me.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in it. Last week he had 17 rushing attempts, 71 yards, 1 touchdown, 13 points.
Didn't he have another touchdown called back?
He might have. I didn't get to see that game.
I didn't see that.
Did.
But
yeah.
I think
he's got 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks.
3 touchdowns in 2 weeks, yeah.
And I think he got 1 called back. I'm not positive. But
I watched some highlights of their game, and he looked really good.
Yeah, he's always been a touchdown.
He looked very fast.
Touchdown guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he's only 8% owned, 8.4% owned across ESPN leagues. Most likely he's available in yours.
If you need someone like an actual starter at RB2, I think he's a guy that.
Yeah. I'd feel
and I mean, if he
better
keeps playing
than
well, he's gonna keep getting touches. So I mean, it's definitely worth a chance on the waiver.
But that's the list we have here. Do either of you have a dude that you can think of that you want to add to this? Before we move on?
One that I had that we didn't talk about was Brandon Aiyuk.
Okay.
He's been terrible all year. Finally got some targets, had a good game. But he's a guy that's worth thinking about because he's obviously talented, right?
I hitched my wagon to Aiyuk.
Trust me, I'm very frustrated with Aiyuk too.
Who did you draft instead of?
I told Jared a couple of weeks ago that
you could have maybe Cup.
We had an auction. We had an auction draft, and Cooper Kupp went up, and I was in the bidding war, and then I stopped because I go, I'm just gonna get Brandon Aiyuk instead.
Because they're having such similar seasons, right? Like I mean, they're just one and the same, right? Like God, that's
clearly interchangeable.
The Devo Samuel factor I didn't take into consideration. I drafted 0 Samuel, and
I did too.
I think out of the 8 teams, we have 6 Aiyuks.
Yeah, I got a lot of Brandon Aiyuk. I just thought he was going to build on what he did last year.
Well, maybe he's starting to come back. He
might like a different player. I think he was banged up early.
Maybe
in the season.
He was.
Now they have him returning punts again, right? Like he wasn't doing that all season.
I don't know about that, but I know I read
he's
a lot of
definitely
reports.
returning punts. I don't know that he returned punts last game.
In the middle of the season, there were a lot of reports that Shanahan was just frustrated with him.
Really?
He got like in the
maybe that got in his. Maybe that got in his head and got him working a little harder.
Maybe they're involving him more because week 8, 7 targets, 4 receptions, 8.5 fantasy points, 45 yards. Last week, 8 targets, 6 receptions, 89 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So he's getting more involved.
I would want to add him if I can, but I would never start him next week. Don't trust him yet.
Don't trust him yet. He's only 45%
his upside
owned across
is
leagues.
Devo Samuel's capable of having like 56 fantasy points, right? And leaving 0 for Aiyuk to have.
Mm-hmm. All right, Matt.
If you want me to add one, I think we already talked about him. That's the tight end for Pittsburgh. I think
the guys that
Pat Fireman.
I think he's a real.
Yeah, he definitely belongs on this list.
He's not going anywhere. Right?
No, he's gonna keep getting a lot of red zone targets. Turns out those are worth a lot of fantasy points.
It's about as far as he can throw it.
Yeah, right.
So he goes on the route. I don't think he can throw it any deeper than him.
Right.
So.
Yeah, he's gonna be a good back end tight end.
How many did Claypool end up? I fell asleep early last night. What did Claypool end up with last night?
Claypool didn't do much. He had like 3 for 35 or something like that.
He didn't do much. I'm pulling up the tight ends numbers real quick. Which so the past 3 weeks he's gotten 6 to 7 targets every single week.
He's my pick.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I just think. I mean,
he's been good.
He's going to get so many targets. You might be able to play him in the flex.
Yeah, 32% owned across ESPN leagues. We're going to pull up Chase Claypool. I think he did something kind of exciting last week. I can't remember.
No, Claypool didn't have a great game.
I think it was maybe 10 points though, which is.
I think it was less.
One.
Claypool, that's exciting.
That's exactly. That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. That is exciting week for Claypool with 10 points. He had 5.
How about Clayton Thornton? How'd he do?
That was an excellent.
I know one thing. That's definitely not Claypool.
He had 5 targets, 3 receptions, 30 yards, 5.8 fantasy points in a half PPR league. So not great. Not great. His numbers aren't looking that great.